What's going on? It's your boy Lionel, class of 2009, back with another episode of PV versus everybody. And listen, I got the birthday princess with me. We're gonna see how long she gonna allow me to be on live this evening. Because yesterday it was her birthday, but listen, right now, PV the birthday. Okay, listen, it ain't nobody else is in the spotlight like the great and illustrious Prairie View A&M University. And we're going to talk a little bit about all those things this evening. We're going to talk a little bit about, why that is, why I believe that is. But before we get into that, I got to remind you guys, man, if you're not following us over on all the platforms, not just Instagram and Twitter, by the way, but also on TikTok as well, make sure you're following us over on PV_versus_everybody. Listen, if you have not liked this video and subscribed already, go ahead and give it a thumbs up right now. Because listen, PV the birthday, it is what it is. All right, you know what I'm saying? So go ahead and give it a thumbs up already. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you have not subscribed. Our goal is 1,100 subscribers, and I'm dropping the link already because listen, this is gonna be a conversation. All right, this not just gonna be your boy talking, right? You know what I'm saying? This is gonna be a conversation with each and every one of us. So I want to get you guys feedback in your thought process. So I'm going ahead and dropping that StreamYard link in the chat right there as well. So if you want to come on and share your thoughts on the conversation we're gonna have this evening, because again, we're not gonna be here for a long time, but we're gonna be here for a good time, right? Because we do have a couple things that I want to talk about. In terms of what is going on right now, in terms of, man, this spring cycle that we're in. Obviously, we just came through the spring season as far as football is concerned. And listen, when we're talking about, obviously, we're talking about athletics and you're talking about PV being the birthday right now. When you're talking about the athletic programs across the conference, SWAC, MEAC, whatever you want to say, the reality is we all know, because we've been having this conversation for the last few years. The foundational sport that we're having a conversation about is football, Americano football, okay? That's the foundational program we're having a conversation about. And then we follow that up. Obviously, we're talking about men's, women's, basketball. We move on to volleyball, then it's softball, baseball, and we trickle on down. But the reality is those three programs, football, men's and women's basketball, listen, those are called your revenue generating sports, your revenue generating programs for a reason, right? For a reason. And so when we're talking about PV right now being the birthday, the reality is the foundation of why that is because of what has transpired over the last few months, specifically in those two foundational programs, football and basketball. That's the reality, right? That's the reality here, right? It's about what is transpiring in both of those programs. And so, listen, as the lingo goes, PV the birthday right now. It doesn't matter what these other programs are doing. And listen, and there was one slide that I forgot to put in here, but you guys have seen it all over, right? Talking about the APR penalties that multiple other SWAC programs have received, but there was one graphic that I really want to grab because it was showing the APR averages for all of the conferences, FBS and FCS, and it was it's so horrible to see that the SWAC is the only conference that average APR is below 930. Man, we're talking about FBS, we're talking about FCS. And at the end of the day, we know the benefit that HBCUs have on the real world, the real working world, the real benefit that it has to the Black community and also to multiple other minority communities as well, right? But especially foundationally to the Black community. And so the truth is, no matter what the APR penalties are, no matter what's going on there in these specific sports, the truth is we know HBCUs are having an impact. So it's so sad to see that the only conference The only conference, FBS and FCS, that is below the threshold is the SWAC. And right now we're talking about 3 programs that have received that penalty. And so when we're talking about understanding this is not, by the way, as we talking how the conversation today, this is not a shot to no other program in the SWAC. It's not a shot at nobody else. It's really just to provide context so we understand where we are. Because PV Nation, I need you to understand where you are and where we're building to, the trajectory that we're on. And listen, the sky, we just talked about a couple weeks ago, the golden era that we enter into. We're really in the golden era right now. People want to talk about, you got to do this until you can say that, until you say it's a dynasty. I don't care about nothing they're talking about. We are entering the golden era of Prairie View athletics. And we're in year 1 right now, and the trajectory is only going to go up and up and up from here. And so I just want to talk and just have a conversation about some of the things that are transpiring going on. Because when you're talking about 3 football coaches over 5 years, you talk about multiple ADs. Prairie View is a school that you would think would be a part of the APR situation right now with the SWAC. But the reality is we are not there. We aren't there. And again, it's not a shot at any SWAC school, right? But the reality is a reality. You're talking about 3 programs in 1 division that, again, there was an appeal for Alabama A&M, so we believe that they have the opportunity to still have postseason play. But the reality is the impact of these football programs, because of what they have not been able to control and handle from a standpoint of student-athlete success and matriculation. And the reality is more than just about necessarily the programs or their desire for students to graduate and things of that nature. It really also goes to, man, what's your infrastructure that you got in place in order to get these things done too? I mean, that's a part of it as well. That plays into it as well. But the reality is Prairie View is not a part of that, because we are literally entering into the golden era. Do you understand that right now, cumulative GPA-wise, the GPA cumulative for the athletic program is on a rise. Cross sports. PV is entered into the golden era of Prairie View athletics. So I just want to talk a little bit about it. But one thing I want to say before we really jump and get into it, I got to share a shout out to my guy, Jeff McKissick, Texas licensed loan officer with Fairway Independence Mortgage Company. Because listen, he'll help guide you seamlessly through the home buying process. And listen, we're closing on a gentleman, a PV alum, on this Friday, tomorrow, right? And so listen, when I tell you that Jeff knows what he's doing, when I tell you that Jeff knows how to get the job done, bro, he knows how to get the job done. So if you're looking for a home of your own before this new season comes, you want to have a spot to watch some of these away games you can't get to, because we know you're coming to all the home games, right? Some of the away games you can't get to, man, hit up my guy, Jeff. Hit up your boy. We're going to get you right? You know what I'm saying? So I just got a special shout out to my boy, Jeff McKissick, because when I say he'll guide you seamlessly through the home buying process, he'll guide you seamlessly through the home buying process. But now, when we talk about Prairie View and some of the things that's going on, listen, I want you guys to understand. Just when you talk about some of the things that are transpiring and going on in the program, and to show that the movement that is going on, listen, this right here is a great example of that movement. You're talking about Prairie View Federal Credit Union coming on as a sponsor. You know, now they are a full-time sponsor of the athletic program, of the football team. And you see their banners, you see their signage up everywhere all throughout the stadium. So you come this upcoming fall, you're going to see it everywhere. But having these corporate sponsors is huge, and you're starting to see, you know, we talked about it last year of Tamar coming on. Tamar sells you coming on to be a part of Prairie View A&M University, to be a part of that arm of really growing the sponsorships, the revenue arm. And when we starting to see some of the things that are blossoming out of that partnership, it shows you that we're entering into an era right now that's going to be beautiful. Because listen, we're in a time now where revenue has always been important. Having funds come to the program has always been important. Let's be clear on that. But you're talking about 2026 with all the stuff that's going on with NIL, with all the stuff that's going on, having a sponsor that's saying, listen, if you as a Prairie View alumni get a checking account and a savings account with us, you get you a debit card, and you use that debit card to transact business, listen, every time you buy something over $5, a percentage of that purchase is going back to the university, yay to the athletic program. Listen, this is real movement right here. It's this real movement right here, showing what PV Nation is building towards, the trajectory that we're moving towards. Because listen, we talk about NIL dollars. We talk about student athletes and bringing people into the program that can make this dynasty last for years to come. Man, having a corporate sponsor like this is huge. To say, man, you're going to have money that goes directly back into your program. That, listen, as an alum, you ain't, listen, free checking account, free savings account. You use this debit card for whatever you desire, whatever your purchase is going to be, and percentage of that purchase goes back to the athletic program to use an NIL funding in dollars for revenue share that directly impacts athletes, directly impacts bringing people into the program to be able to do major things. Listen, that's huge. That's huge. That's life changing. That's changing the program, right? And that's changing the impact that the coaches can have on the student athletes that's coming into the program, right? What's going on? We see Pastor Quan, you know what I'm saying? So listen, if you're talking about what's being done, if you're talking about how we can generate revenue, talk about NIL dollars. See, you're just thinking about the fact that the university just gave T-Jack $200,000. I want you to understand. I want you to get it across your mind right now of what we're building towards, of why this is the golden era of Prairie View athletics. T-Jack just got $200,000. That ain't counting the pockets of the Prairie View Federal Credit Union and the money they're gonna pass over to the university and to the athletic program for people who take advantage of this. Listen, it's a debit card, right? It's a debit card, but again, on signature-based transactions, that's run as credit, right? So you got to have the funds in the account. It's not a credit card. You got to have the funds in the account, but on signature-based transactions, anything above $5, a percentage of that is going back to the athletic program. Revolutionary, right? Because listen, again, how much can that generate? And how much of that money that is generated throughout a year can go to impact real people with real NIL dollars? But listen, that's a corporate sponsor. That's not even an alum saying that they're going to give a specific amount of funds back. That ain't even that yet. We ain't even there yet, right? So when we talk about what has been transpired, Tay Marcel, you has been brought on, and the momentum is there, right? It's building. It's building. But that's not it, right? Because I really want to get into season tickets, right? Because listen, season tickets, the goal that's the PV Nation goal, the PV12 goal, 2,000 season tickets. That's what our goal is for this year for PV Nation, because we believe we can do it. We believe we can get it done, right? Now, I remember last year we're dropping a graphic saying, man, we broke a record of 1,000 season tickets. 1,000 season tickets. And now the information and the rebuttals and the pushback we heard from many people across the land was if that was like, bro, that's nothing. 1,000 season tickets? Y'all doing it. Listen, and I said at that time, you can't let people poo-poo your success. You can't let people talk down on you building, because you'll stop celebrating your success and your accomplishment, and you won't keep growing because you're using them as a marker when we big PV. And so the goal this year is 2,000 season tickets, right? But now last year when we broke that mark of 1,000 season tickets, people talk down on that. People talk big noise about that. But the reality is that was a big thing. That was huge for us to see that we had generated individuals who had enough belief in the program that they were going to put their money where their mouth was to support the program. Right? And we talking about season tickets. Listen, you talking about the home schedule on this year. We already know how them even years do. You know, Boom talk about it all the time, right? Boom talk about it all the time, right? Them home years is the years that really want to get down. You're talking about Texas Southern, the Labor Day Classic this year. You got Stephen F. Austin coming in, top 25 program, top 15 on some polls. Southern University coming in, Alcorn State and Alabama A&M. You talking about a legit home schedule this year. So listen, last year we had over 1,000 season tickets, and we already know that the odd years ain't even the best schedule for the home games. So the reality is, what can we do this year? Winning a championship, coming off a championship, coming off a Celebration Bowl appearance, with the momentum we got, where could we get to? We believe it's 2,000. That's why we put it there, right? And listen, it's good we surpassed last year's total with months to go. And that's the thing, right? So again, we're talking about what we did last year. And again, looking at the totals, because I see Isaiah here talking about, right, paying top dollar. The reality is we don't have the season ticket prices that's similar to other people. So when we talk about 1,000, you got to understand, we're talking about 1,000 season tickets, and almost all of the reserve seating in 106, 107, and 108, which is the $400 package. You're talking about they're gone. Last time we looked, there was 14 seats left, right? Somebody can go look and see what it is now, right? You know what I'm saying? It was 14 seats left. So all the other seats are gone. That's the $400 package. So let me tell you, and just those three sections alone, you're talking about over 700 seats, right? Talking about right around 700 seats, right? So again, if you talk about 1,000 season tickets, over 1,000, listen, you're talking about an impact. You're talking about a huge impact already just by people purchasing the season ticket. Again, that's funds that can go directly into supporting the program. So Isaiah says 10 seats left, right? In those three sections. It was just 14 the other day. So that means 4 people between the time that we checked last week and now. That's 4 of the people that are bought. And again, I'm trying to show you what we're moving to. Because last year we surpassed 1,000. This year, as of last week, because I haven't even checked to today, 1,262 season ticket holders. This already, if we don't sell another season ticket, that's an 18% increase off of last year's numbers. And again, if you increase 18% year over year, where are you going to be in 4 or 5 years? That's why I say you can't let people poo-poo on what you know is success. But again, the goal is 2,000 this year, and I believe we're going to hit that goal, right? But you got to understand, 1,262 people believed in the program enough to put up big money. Big money. Big money. Listen, and I want you to understand, shouts out to Isaiah, you know what I'm saying? Section 107 Panthers, you feel me? I want you to understand, this year there's a $50 competitive excellence fee that's going directly into revenue sharing. I'm trying to help y'all understand something right now. This ain't the 200,000 that the university just handed to TJ. This ain't that 200,000. This ain't that 200,000. This ain't that 200,000. That 200,000 already in the bank. So you telling me $50 of the 1,262 that's already there, right? That money already there, right? Yeah, you do the math, right? That's direct NIL dollars, right? That's direct NIL dollars. Directly. That's direct revenue share. When I say NIL, it's revenue share, right? So we got 200,000 already from the university that we're going to share, that we're going to sparse up. But now you get to add $50 times 1,262 on top of that. That is too many calculations for someone. Listen. Some of y'all ain't did math in a while, so I'm giving you a chance. That's what we do here. We build you mentally. Okay, that's what we do too. People versus everybody. All right. Listen, I said it don't include the 3 golf tournaments. It don't include something else we're about to talk about too. Listen, I'm trying to help y'all to understand. PV Nation, I'm trying to help you understand what's being built right now is about to change the game. It's about to change the game. So you talking about the $50 excellence fee on that's straight. Listen, that $50 excellence fee is straight like, hey, T-Jack, you got 200,000, we gonna give you this extra on top of that. That's that. That's not including other fundraising events. We ain't got there yet. This is just straight season tickets. And listen, the Panther Athletic Fund, which last year raised $440,000 in its first year, infancy, first year, right? Over 900 donors, first year, over 2,200 total gifts, right? So those 900 plus people supported over 2,200 times for a total of $440,000 plus, okay? Panther Athletic Fund. But now listen, these season tickets now, listen, if you buy, that's 106, 107, 108, I already told you, that's around 700 seats. It ain't but 10 left. Them people already paid their Panther Athletic Fund contribution. They already put a contribution to Panther Athletic Fund of $200, right? And 200 multiplied by the number of people who got seats in that section, who got season tickets in that section. That's straight Panther Athletic Fund money already. Bank it, right? You just bank it right there. If you in the other club sections, $100 goes to that, right? So that other 500 plus $100 Panther Athletic Fund contribution already. Point blank. That's just from. So again, you can't let people make you, bro. This thing is about to be large. This thing is about to go crazy. Yeah. It's about to go crazy. This just season tickets, y'all. This just season tickets. This is just, that ain't even the month 200,000. Listen, we add money on top of that, right? So I want y'all to understand. Listen, and again, we talk about Section 107. I want y'all to understand. Listen, we are building something major. And before I get to talking about the Labor Day Classic real quick, right? Again, I want to talk a little bit about something real quick. I want y'all to watch this, and I want y'all to understand, because we talk about pro. People always want to compare it to other stuff that's going on. So I say you can't really compare to everybody and what they got going, because the reality is everybody in different situations. Everybody in different situations. You got to look at your situation and see, what does this mean for you and for what you got going on? Because people would tell you that other programs are huge. Man, other fan bases, they doing their thing. Are other fan bases really doing their thing like that? Based on what the numbers are? Based on, sometimes they ain't even like that. They should be talking, bro. Sometimes they should be talking to you. So I want y'all to check this out, because I want you to see that this is, Big PV is making moves, and y'all need to understand the moves that Big PV is making. Check this out.
The importance of buying season tickets. No stuff we
I
talk
was
about
about to ask that same thing.
Let me say my disclaimer again. This show ain't sending shots at nobody. It's not sending shots at Alcorn, not sending shots at FAMU or Jackson or Grant. It's not what this is for, right? This is for perspective for Big PV Nation, so y'all understand what we building, so y'all understand the golden era we entering into. So,
man, that I'm telling you, if last year I was trying to do 2,500 in 2025. We talked about it, and we got just over 1,000. But
the 1,000 season tickets. I mean, 2,500 season tickets. Sorry, 2,500 season tickets, right? Talking about our goal this year, 2,000, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what our goal, based on what we're doing, based on where we're trying to go. He said he didn't hit 1,000. This is the Big Bad Braves, though, right? I understand Big Bad Braves. Because see, like I say, this is not, shout out to G, shouts out to them, shouts out to the letter director, right? They're doing some great things in the program. They're actually going to be upgrading some of their facilities and stuff. This ain't no shot. So I'm keep saying it. This is for informational purposes, right? You know what I'm saying? This is so Big PV Nation understand why you so big and bad. That's why this is why you understand where you are in the context of the whole entire SWAC and what you're doing, what you're building, and why you got to stay focused on your own stuff, right? Stop comparing yourself all the time. Their goal was 2,500. He only did a little bit over 1,000. What we do last year? Didn't I just say we did over 1,000? Okay, I'm just trying to check, right? Now, this is Big Bad Alcorn because I've heard other people say and try to compare us to Alcorn. Other people even in the space, other people even in the SWAC media streets. Even though I tried to tell them last year, I say, listen, y'all talking about us and what we did and T-Jack coming on, talking about people coming to the homecoming game. Do you realize we played Lincoln of California for homecoming? The same homecoming opponent that Alcorn State had? Do you realize that we had 4,000 more fans in attendance for our homecoming game than what Alcorn had for their homecoming game? Yet I've not heard any single person say anything about Alcorn's attendance. I ain't heard nobody saying about that. But let me let him talk. Let me let him talk.
I just kind of want people to understand the importance of giving, but also definitely when it comes to season tickets, because that's our revenue. Whether you go to the game or not, we got a 20,000 seat stadium. I would love for 20,000 people to show up at every game. But more than anything, we need the financial support. I get a lot of thoughts and ideas about things that we need to do, should do. You better do, but it's just such a need. Even when we were had the success that we had, we were selling more season tickets, but we also got more students engaged, wanting to come to Alcorn. So, but that love and passion that everyone has, that season ticket sale for football and basketball, it allows the department to do some things that we may not ordinarily do. We still have to meet a certain revenue goal within the department, but there are some things that my coaches, may not be a need, but some of those wants we can potentially meet. And that's where the season ticket support comes in and really allows us to step up another level in certain things, even when it comes to, and I know the question may come up later, when it comes to revenue sharing. You don't make no revenue, you ain't got nothing to share, guys. I'm just, it's just.
If you don't make no revenue, you ain't got nothing to share. That's why we said, see, y'all, you think this $50 is nothing. He trying to tell you, if you ain't got no revenue, you can't share nothing. The university, do you understand? The university already gave the football team revenue to share. They already gave them revenue to share. It's in the budget, okay? It's in the budget. But that you thinking that $50 is nothing? You thinking that $200, that $100 the PAF is nothing? Listen, you gotta give it to you gotta get it to have it to share revenue. And listen, that's where we at in 2026. In 2026, if you're an FCS program, you need some revenue to share if you're gonna be a top tier elite FCS program. Because that's what we're aiming for. We're not aiming just to be SWAC good. I'm just
It is.
That's facts.
That's what it is. You can't share no revenue when you're in the hole. You got to pay bills.
Right. That's right. That's true.
That's just facts, man. I got to tell it just what it is. And we need every piece of revenue that we can get. Everybody, when you got a school paying a quarterback $250,000, come on now. Just took one of our kids for $80,000. We couldn't. So, and they talk about revenue sharing, the NIL. All that money has to come from fans, and the more revenue that we have, it just allows us. That Mackenzie Scott money, we can't use that to pay nobody. We can't buy no quarterback with that. No.
I'm glad you said that because I get asked that a lot.
Let me just put that on right out here right now. Mackenzie Scott money cannot buy us a quarterback, a running back, no athlete. That ain't happening.
I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, that's important to say.
No. And please don't ask me what are we going to do with it, because that's a question for Dr. Cook. He has a plan for it. He's working it out. But trust me, we're not where we want to be, but we're nowhere near where we used to be. We are moving forward. If you come to campus now, you're going to see a lot of things going on. And in about a month or so, you're going to see some even more things going on. So by the time you get here for the first football game, guys, you're going to see some upgrades and some things happening. It may not be where everybody, I'm letting everybody know. I'm getting the stadium pressure washed. I'm doing some other stuff. I'm just saying, man.
Could you share about how much that costs just to get the stadium pressure washed?
Ooh, you know what? I don't want to put a number out there but it costs. I can tell you that. But the next time, matter of fact, I'll send you an email so you talk about it on the next show. Yeah, AD sent this in. This is what it costs. And we just did the backside. Look, all the birds over there eating out stuff and the leaks and oh man, I could talk that's another half-hour conversation. But we are addressing it, guys. We are addressing a number of different things, but it takes a little bit of time. But again, going back to that revenue that we need, a lot of people think, well, why can't the school just do this and that? It's not that easy. It is very few programs make more revenue than they have in expenses. And we're doing the best that we can. I'm not going to say we're doing better than most, but the support that we need in order to do some of these things is, everything from we have to pay from the porta potties all the way to security. It costs. I when I did my report last year at midwinter, playing at home was costing us about $20,000. We weren't making, outside of 2 games, we weren't covering our expenses. So when you average it out, we were losing money.
That's huge, right? And again, Peasy, I see you in the chat, right? As I say, I made my disclaimer 3 times already, make it again, right? This ain't no shot at no school. It's not a shot at Alcorn, not a shot at Grambling, FAM, Alabama. Ain't a shot at nobody, right? This is for context and for PV Nation to understand where we're building and where we're going and why you need to, first and foremost, appreciate what's going on right now. And you need to get behind what's going on right now in whatever way you can. Listen, all those things built the same, but you need to get it behind it in whatever way you can. Maybe you can only get it behind it by getting a Prairie View Federal Credit Union free checking account, getting you a free debit card, and going ahead and getting some signature-based purchases so we put some money back into the NIL. Maybe that's how you go about it. You can't go about it in a different way, but everybody can support in some kind of way, because I'm trying to help you understand that $50 means a lot. Understand what the AD is saying here is only 2 of Alcorn's home games last year did they even make enough revenue for what it actually cost them to put the game on. And the reality is, this the reality, right? If we talk to a lot of ADs in this conference, it don't matter what you see as the number of people in attendance there. They in the same boat. They in the same situation. So I'm trying to help you to understand, first and foremost, stop letting people poo-poo 1,262, which, listen, I already know. If I go and talk to the guys right now, this number already increased in the last week. I already know that, okay? It ain't even here no more. This just the last report number I got. But the point is, you can't let people poo-poo that when you know that every single one of these 1,262 means $200 extra to the Panther Athletic Fund. Means a $50 contribution to NIL dollars. Real contribution, real money that's really supporting a championship program. And listen, I'm going to say it, a championship dynasty, golden era. We're not the same. But again, this ain't shots. This ain't shots. This is just trying to help PV Nation understand. Man, stop worrying about what these other programs are talking about. You can't even look at the pretty glass, because the reality is you see all these people there, and the people still, if you talk to some of the ADs, they're gonna tell you, man, really only 3 of these games were really making enough to cover our expenses for them. That's the reality of the situation. That's the reality of the situation. I'm gonna play it again just so you can hear.
Doing the best that we can. I'm not gonna say we're doing better than most, but the support that we need in order to do some of these things is, everything from we have to pay from the porta potties all the way to security. It costs. I when I did my report last year at midwinter, playing at home was costing us about $20,000. We weren't making, outside of 2 games, we weren't covering our expenses. So when you average it out, we were losing money. So if people don't just buy the season tickets, to at least, it would be great to have at least 10,000 season tickets sold. And we have almost the cheapest season ticket in the SWAC. It works out to be, our season ticket works out to be about $12.50 a month. If you average it out at 150. So, and I don't mean to, I know we're talking about a lot of different things, guys, but I got to put some of this out there just to let everyone know that we're not making this stuff up, and we really, 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 really need the support. So.
This ain't shots. Say it again. This ain't shots, but I want you to understand. Listen, he's saying only 2 games last year did they even make enough revenue for the game. I want you to understand. The game what it costs for them to put on the game is $20,000. Listen, I want you to understand. There's a lot of the schools that the game costs more than that to put it on. Okay, it costs more than $20,000 to put on some games in some other venues across the SWAC. It does. That's the reality. So you can't look at just what's pretty. You got to understand that some people need the average 20,000. If they don't get 20,000, they're not making enough revenue to even support the game. That's the reality of the situation. Now, that don't change the fact that, everybody should want to have 20,000 in the stands, but I want you to understand everybody's situation ain't built the same. So when we talk about 1,200 season tickets, some other people may put up and they may got 7,000 season tickets. Some other people may got 3,000 season tickets. But guess what? They still 4,000 season tickets short of what they need in order to even make the program function properly. It's different. Tony said it, right? We're dealing with first world problems. But I want you to understand we enter into a golden era. So I want you to come alongside and support this golden era that we're going into, because we really building something special right now. And listen, let me tell you, people who really know for real, they really scared right now. T-Jack told y'all, people always said when Prairie View gets it right, you telling me giving $200,000 to the program where they ain't got to do, you ain't got to do nothing but wake up and you got $200,000 to go hunt for some real talent. And the talent we got last year was no money behind hunting for. The people that's coming this year wasn't really no real dollars behind the money coming in for. So you're talking about $200,000 on top of the little funds that was already given by the university, and you add the PAF funds and the competitive excellence funds on top of that. Not to mention all the other fundraising arms. Now we adding to that. You're talking about maybe having $500,000 this year to operate with. I'm trying to tell you, what's being built is special. And if you just do your little part, it's going to be that way for a long time. The next decade is PV's decade. I want you to understand. And I'm talking about primarily football, basketball. That's what we talking about. That's foundation. We are in the revenue generating sports. That's what we foundationally talking about. The other sports are going to get benefited because of that. But we talking about that as the foundation. We talking about that as a foundation. Period. Now, I want to go to, we're going to have a slight commercial break for a second, because the commercial break is going to take me into my next segment of what I got to talk about here with you guys. Because I need you to understand what we building towards and what we going to. And so we're going to talk about marketing this Labor Day Classic. Be sure to follow us on all social platforms at PV_versus_ everybody. If you have not done so already, go ahead and like and subscribe to this video. And listen, the goal now is 1,100 subs. So go ahead and show some love.
Some traditions are built overnight. They're built in the quiet mornings before the lights turn on. Built in preparation, built in discipline, built in commitment. At TON Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, we believe care should be built the same way. One patient at a time, one family at a time, one smile at a time. Because excellence isn't accidental, it's intentional. And that's why we're proud to stand behind one of the greatest traditions in college football. A rivalry defined by pride, fueled by legacy, and carried by generations. The 2026 Labor Day Classic, where preparation meets opportunity, where tradition meets the future. TLN Family and Cosmetic Dentistry, the official sponsor of the 2026 Labor Day Classic, built to last.
Now listen, we're going to talk a little bit about the Labor Day Classic, right? Because I know some people have saw that information and see kind of what's going on around it, and you kind of question things, trying to figure out, we're going to make this real crystal clear and real easy. And again, let me drop this link again. Anybody want to come jump on and share your thoughts? Because again, I know we got multiple people in the chat, and I see Mr. Crooks in here saying, man, that's one PWI bench warmer. May only need one PWI bench warmer to change the game. You know, that could be the difference between the Celebration Bowl title and the loss. One PWI bench warmer. And even this, right? All the transfer in the portal, you say we're competing against out. This is the thing, right? We're not competing against you. We're not. We're competing against Kansas. We're competing against Georgia Southern. We're competing against USC. We're trying to get that real high-level high school baller who's going to go sit on USC's bench for 2 years and then transfer down. We're trying to get him to go ahead and go and come to PV off rip. We're trying to get that kid who's about to transfer out of his SCS or G5 program to consider Prairie View instead of taking a couple of dollars from another G5 or P4 program just to sit on the bench. We're not competing in the same ballpark, which is why the money is important. See, if you're thinking about being SWAC good, like Mr. Crooks right here is talking about, then yeah, it's like how much money do you really need, right? But if you're talking about competing against a Tarleton State, who basically got $2 million to use, but then we having a different conversation, ain't we? Because who you competing against matters. And the reality is, our goal is to dominate everybody so much that we win the Celebration Bowl title and we still are ranked number one in FCS at the end of the year, even though we never played in the FCS playoffs. Like, that's how dominant we want to be throughout the entirety of the year. That's the goal. That's the goal. And listen, we talk about it. We got in the chat right here. Mr. Vice President said it. Labor Day Classic. We talking about fun. See, we talked about the money the university handed to the program. We talked about the importance of season tickets, which is why that $1,262 is fire. That's 18% increase. We in May, people. We got May, June, July, August left before we even see a final number. That's why we say the goal 2,000. That's why the goal 2,000 in the first place, right? But wherever we land, the point is that's extra dollars on top of the 200,000. Now, listen, this is a straight direct a contribution to the athletic program, yay, to the football program by TLN Family Dentistry. Prairie View alum. Listen, we're looking to get here on the channel, you know what I'm saying, to have that conversation. The first of its kind, directly sponsoring a Labor Day. See, y'all thought, man, it got to be State Farm. Y'all thought it got to be Cricket Wireless. No. Prairie View is doing something revolutionary, starting to cut up its assets, a la what you see with the NFL on the big scale, big level, right? Cut up its assets and provide opportunities like this for a local business owner that got some funds to put in some money. And listen, the reality is it's going to be a great partnership because this dentistry has multiple locations. They're going to see a benefit out of being a partner for this Labor Day Classic. And there are other businesses in a similar vein who can see a benefit too by partnering with the great and illustrious Prairie View University. That's reality. That's the reality. And so, listen, we don't know. We'll find that out on August 29th. You know what I'm saying? In September. That's what we're going to find it out. That's what we're going to find it out. But when you're talking about having a sponsor that's a PV alum, listen, you're talking about revolutionary stuff right now that's going on. Revolutionary. Changing the game. And we talk about the Labor Day Classic, you know, there's been a lot of ears perking up, a lot of eyes looking sideways because the Labor Day Classic this year is on a Sunday, but not the fact it's on a Sunday. Labor Day Classic has been on Sundays before, but the Labor Day Classic is a night game. That's what we know the Labor Day Classic is, right? Typically night game, Saturday night. Sometimes a few years it's been on a Sunday and a Sunday night. We got that Monday off typically. But this year, the Labor Day Classic is on Sunday at 11 o'clock in the morning. And a lot of people are like, wow, what's going on? What are we doing this for? But listen, when you understand that you're looking at aiming higher, at aiming bigger, then sometimes you got to take the opportunities that come before you. And again, why the opportunities there? The opportunities there because Prairie View is killing it online and in the media space right now. ESPN understands that. And so having the opportunity to put this game, listen, this is going to be the only game on at the time on this day. Prime time slot, 11 o'clock on Sunday. Realize this is still the beginning of football season where people are now getting their palates wet for football. And we're going to have a prime time slot, prime time game at 11 o'clock. Only game on at that time for the Labor Day Classic in our own stadium, showing that beautiful new turf field that we got with the beautiful logo at the 50, being able to see the beautiful campus in the background. Do you understand that we just talked about it a few shows ago, the amount of advertising dollars it would have took for us to get the eyeballs on Prairie View over the last few months because of what happened with the football program and the basketball program? Well, listen, you want to continue that momentum because getting those type of eyeballs on Prairie View is going to have a lasting effects. This year, just this spring, applications went up from a little bit over 7,000 to 25,000 applications to the university. You can't say that got nothing to do with the sports, putting Prairie View's name out there. Huge jump in applications. Over 25,000 applications. I'm telling you, this is the golden era. Listen, as we move to Research 1, as we move to R1 on the institution side, but we're going to move on the FCS Elite on the athletic side as well. And it's going to culminate in something special and something so beautiful. That's all I'm trying to say, man. That's all I'm trying to say. So listen, the brunch classic. Listen, the TLN Family Dental Labor Day Brunch Classic. All right, you know what I'm saying? Get there early. Listen, bring your paper plates because it's going on. Tell a tea lady to make sure she on time. All right. The only football game that day on TV. And the NFL doesn't start until a week later. And so, yeah, we're talking about record enrollment on the way. We already got a record. We're over 10,000 total students. And they're trying to hold it back. They're trying to hold the reins back and not allow it to explode. But the reality is, soon as they get some more beds in place, it's going to explode because it's ready to explode right now. I'm trying to just help everybody to understand what is going on, what we're building towards, what this golden era we enter into is, so that you can come alongside what we're building. And that may simply be for you. Purchase season tickets. Show up to the home games. Listen, you in the Dallas area, maybe show up to East Texas A&M game in Commerce. Pull up to Stephenville when we play Tarleton State. You know what I'm saying? 5 million views. Yeah, the marketing is gonna be over the top. And then the school made some money off the fees too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the new dorm on the way, housing on the way too as well. Listen, we're literally building toward a place to where it's going to explode. And so I want you to understand early on, this is where we're going. And so when you talk about ESPN and why, though, I want to remind you guys. I need to remind you guys of what happened this past year. When you talk about the SWAC championship, I want you to understand 268,000 viewers for the SWAC championship game on ESPN2. Now, that's the second most viewership for the SWAC championship game. The only other game, when you talk about SWAC championship games that had higher viewership, was Dion games. That's what I want to remind everybody. The Dion's SWAC championships, 254,000 eyeballs, right? Yeah, that game had more viewers. It just should. I would hope that Dion brought some more eyeballs to the game. But Prairie View, SWAC championship, 268,000. Man, that's interesting. Well, maybe this is a one-off. Listen, Celebration Bowl, 2.3 million views. At the peak, 3 million eyeballs. At the peak of the Celebration Bowl. You say, man, that's good. I mean, you have South Carolina State in there. They were in the year previous, though. You know, they were there previously, and the numbers wasn't like that. Not only that, listen, I'm trying to show, I'm just building a case. So all I'm trying to say is SWAC championship, only thing exceeds that is Dion. Celebration Bowl numbers jump up year over year. 3 million is peak. Then guess what? Or the two highest watched SWAC TV games. Prairie View, it was Prairie View versus Texas Southern, is what I was told. But when now they've come out with the numbers, the AD just let us know, no, that was number 2. The first one, the most watched game on SWAC TV, Prairie View versus UTRGV. The Vaqueros. So no matter you talking about SWAC TV, talking about ESPN with SWAC championship game, talk about ABC Celebration Bowl, Prairie View is doing numbers. I'm here to tell you, right? I believe the SWAC office understands and knows it's important that Prairie View continues to remain a top program in this conference. Because the reality is, listen, after COVID, things switch when you talk about the NCAA, you talk about college football. Listen, it's an NIL, it's a money game, and that, bro, more than ever, the media side of things is huge. When you talk about the Big Ten and the SEC separating, how they're separating from everything else, they separating because, bro, the media dollars, the way that they control the media purses is out this world. It's outrageous. Well, guess what? If the SWAC hopes to do some of the huge things that they want to do, some of the big revolutionary things that Dr. McClellan is wanting to do, and how he's leading into the future, he needs Prairie View to be a part of that equation and to be a huge part of that equation. Because guess what? When you talk about media, Prairie View has a huge part to play in helping this conference to get the media dollars that they want to get. That's just the facts. That's the reality, right? Yeah, but DFW got Baylor, Tarleton, East Texas A&M, all within the DFW Panthers footprint, right? So I want you to understand, right? When you talk about the top 10 media markets in the country, of course, we know Atlanta's going to be in there. A lot of things going on in Atlanta, SWAC using Atlanta. But listen, man, Dallas-Fort Worth is 4th on the list, and Houston, Texas is 6th on the list. Talking about 6 million households between the two. That's a reason SWAC TV, ESPN2, ABC, there's a reason that these numbers are elevated when Prairie View A&M is in these games. You got to understand, man, there's a lot of PV graduates sprinkled across Dallas, sprinkled across Fort Worth, sprinkled across Houston, sprinkled across Woodlands, Katy. The reality is PV is the Black Texas Flagship University. Doesn't matter if it's Houston, Dallas, Austin, San Antonio, East Texas, Golden Triangle. PV is Texas's HBCU. And what I'm trying to help you understand is, can somebody help me understand? The SWAC is going to continue to try to build its media conglomerate. They're going to try to get some big media dollars. Well, what is the biggest media footprint that the SWAC has within its conference? Somebody help me out and tell me. What's the biggest footprint? Listen, and the reality is, I can say the same in this way, right? The SWAC really wants Texas Southern to be really good in basketball. Because Texas Southern is in the Houston media market. And we talk about the revenue generating sports of football primarily and then basketball, men's and women's. Listen, the biggest media markets the SWAC has access to, Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas. Then you can say Atlanta, right? It's like a stretch. You can say Atlanta, maybe with the reach, up there, and that's why they try to do a lot of stuff there. Of course, we got the Celebration Bowl, try to do the basketball tournament there. Reality is there's only 2 on this top 10 list. And even if you go to the 25 top media markets, you're only then including Florida A&M, got to kind of stretch maybe the Bethune, really just FAMU. We got 3 Florida markets in that next 10 to 11 to 25, right? But there's no other cities that have the reach and access to the TV households that Prairie View has with Dallas and Houston. Nobody else got that. And so the reality is they need, people talk about what schools need to be good, what schools need to be at the forefront, what schools need to be carrying, who needs to be anchors and all this. Listen, the reality is, whatever mix you want to involve, if you're talking about the SWAC getting the revenue that it believes it's deserved, we ain't talking about respect and all this other stuff. Or listen, you talk about what the SWAC needs and the brands that the SWAC needs to be at the forefront. Let me tell you, it ain't no way in the new iteration of what the NCAA is, or what college football is, college basketball, both men's and women's, that Prairie View A&M University, that the SWAC don't need PVAMU to be a part of that equation. It just don't make no sense. The top 2 media markets in the SWAC's footprint are in Prairie View's footprint, Houston and Dallas. And I'm telling you this right now because as you see moving forward, listen, I don't know if you remember a couple years ago, after we went to the SWAC championship game, you realize all of our games was on ESPN the next year. Like every single game was on an ESPN affiliate. That's back when Coach Bubba was coaching, right? It's not a knock at Coach Bubba, right? Coach Bubba's not out. He's not putting the program out there like that, like we see now with Coach Jermaine Jackson. You understand? Listen, the ESPN ain't dumb. They understand. Listen, the media markets that if the SWAC wants to grow and get the amount of money they believe they should get from a media deal, this school right here, and again, Texas Southern, they need Texas Southern to rise up and to continue to be good in different athletic ventures, but especially basketball, because again, football means women's basketball. But Prairie View, as far as football, we need them to continue to be the HBCU of Texas in terms of that. Because Houston and Dallas, we got to have the eyeballs in the market. And the reality is, we know from just the Celebration Bowl SWAC Championship, there are eyes of people in these 2 communities that watch these games simply because they knew Prairie View graduates. Simply because they work with people from PV. So, listen, it's the reality, man. That's why we got to market the Labor Day Classic. That's why we got to do something different. That's why we got to put it out there. Again, man, I ain't want to come on long. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying is, the reality is there is no one school in the SWAC that can carry the entire thing. This just don't make sense, right? You need a conglomerate of schools in order to get what you want to get, right? There's no one school out here that's doing that. why would the SEC go after Texas and Oklahoma? You already got Alabama. You got LSU and Tennessee. And listen, they understand, man, if we bring in Texas media market, we bring in Oklahoma and that Oklahoma City media market, that's just making our brand larger. That's just making us grow to what we want to be. Obviously, the competition itself also bigs up too. The Big Ten, there was a reason the Big Ten went out west to California. They ain't go out west simply because they play good football out there. They play good football in front of audiences that want to see them teams play. So the reality is the SWAC, listen, for what the SWAC want to do media-wise, they need Prairie View A&M University. People say whatever they want to. They need the big PV. They need the great and illustrious Prairie View A&M University. When we talk about what this new iteration of college sports is about, trying to get this media deal to go, you need Dallas and Houston. And there's no schools in the SWAC pulling both of them like Prairie View A&M University. That's just facts. TSU is not pulling that. That's just reality, right? This is reality. So we have the top media markets. And there's a reason that the numbers are like, and that's why I say, listen, you can just wait. You can just wait and see this year. See what the numbers are this year. Because we're going to have another SWAC championship game that we're a part of. We're going to host it this time. Let's just see what the numbers are. Let's just see what this year's SWAC TV numbers look like. We probably ain't going to have maybe 1 or 2 games on SWAC TV anyway this year because ESPN probably going to grab up all the games like they did a few years ago. But let's just see what the numbers show to see. Maybe what I'm saying just ain't making no sense. But listen, top media markets right here. What are the top media markets in the SWAC? Prairie View is in the footprint of the largest. Like I say, next up, you got, again, I include Texas Southern, especially on the basketball side. Then I say FAMU, Florida. Maybe Bethune, really FAMU, right? But what? That's the top right there. I mean, they ain't hating, that ain't nothing. It just is what it is, right? It just is what it is. All right. So again, I wanted to come on, just have a conversation, man, about what's going on with PV. And again, just to encourage you guys, just dropping that link, man. I don't know if anybody want to come on and share your thoughts on anything. You got a chance. I want to remind you guys again, right? That's why we keep pushing and talking about it. Season tickets on sale. $400 for 106, 107, 108. Slide over 104, 105, 109, 110 for $300. And then bitch seating is $200. So listen, again, no matter your level of support, we need you to be there. We need you to support the program because we're building something amazing right now. And you want to be in the building to see what the amazing stuff that we build. All right. First game against Tarleton State. It's going to be a barn. Listen, it's going to be a great game. People say whatever they want to say. Most people ain't going to give us a shot to win. We're not playing no team on this schedule that we think we can beat. That's the reality. And with the discipline, T-Jack has already told us what the secret to winning really is. When you ain't got the most talent, bro, it's about the team. It's about the discipline. Who makes the least mistakes. That's the real secret. And I told y'all before, I really believe T-Jack got the formula to where it don't matter where he go, he's going to win. So he got the same formula that a South Dakota, North Dakota State, Montana State. He got the same formula them guys got. He understands what it is. He understands how to build it. And so if you don't think we're going to compete against the top tier FCS programs and it's going to be a battle for them to get out with a win, you've lost your mind. You've really lost your mind. You've lost your mind. We're coming. We're here. We the birthday. PV the birthday. That's all I'm trying to say. All I'm trying to say is PV the birthday. Okay? So get your tickets. Get ready. You know what I'm saying? Get ready for what's coming because we're building one step at a time, one day at a time. Now, man, we got some exciting stuff coming up on the show, man. I really want to let you know, I'm doing some digging for you guys, right? So I know I've been off and on for a minute, Shouts out to Sid for holding us down, with Productive People. Shouts out to the PV Nation podcast and the fellas, for holding us down with PV Nation podcast. the recap show. We're revolution. We're getting some things in order, right? We're gonna be coming back with, with especially those two segments you guys love, Northern Lights being one of them, and then also Under the Headset, where we're gonna really keep talking about the game and breaking down the game. You guys have, talked about how much you love that segment. Appreciate it. So if you guys right now have any specific things that you want us to discuss in the Under the Headset segment, right? But it's just an example, right? We talked about recruiting 101, what goes on in the spring and the summer when guys are like, out on the street and you're trying to get guys in. Like right now, we know the coaches, they went on that JUCO run, right? Last week, now they're on their high school run. And so we had a conversation about that, how that works. But if you guys have anything specific in terms of ball, right? In terms of the game of football that you say you want to see and get more information and more knowledge on, then let me know, because me, Coach Northern, Mr. Mickens, we're putting that list together because we're gonna start having those as a part of the show again, right? Coming up soon. So if you guys have those things, just let us know. You can put it in the comments. You can hit me up directly on Facebook. Of course, you can email me, pv versus everybody@gmail.com, because we really want to talk about these things, right? And again, make us better, just make us understand the game better, right? You know what I'm saying? And this is something that will benefit everybody. Even if you're not a PV alum, you can be benefited by, this Under the Headset segment. So we got Isaiah, route concepts. Yes, we definitely can talk about that. Said there's minimum marketing happening for athletes. From my knowledge, there's no one that is being paid to handle marketing for athletics with a budget. Yeah, there's no marketing person right now. So that's also a reason I wanted to do the show too, right? Just to talk about some of the stuff going on. And, PV Nation, the fans, PV12, we try to do what we can to come alongside the University Athletic Program, right? So we want to keep putting those things out there. Again, that's why we're sharing the numbers on where we are season ticket-wise, so that we can keep going toward our goal of 2,000. Because we know that there are other people who even said and talked about wanting to get season tickets, and maybe they just haven't done it yet. Maybe they just forgot, right? So we just, again, reminding people so we can get to that point. You know what I'm saying? So, but again, like I said, if you have something you want to talk about in terms of Under the Headset segment, let me know, because we're putting some things together with that. Also, we're gonna start doing something very special. I'm actually working on getting some, sourcing some film for you guys, right? Continue to be patient with me, right? It's been definitely taking a while to get to this point, but I'm at a point where I think I've gotten a way to access some of these things. So, again, we appreciate all the support for the channel, right? Because obviously ain't none of this stuff free, you know what I'm saying? But, we want to start giving you guys some behind the scenes look at the program and just talk about just generally, right, some of the opponents we have. Even we talk about Tarleton State coming up. We talk about, right, having games at home against Texas Southern and SFA, Alcorn Southern, Alabama A&M. Let's look into these programs, right? Let's see what they do. What did Coach Sam Shea try to do last year in terms of offensively to attack guys, right? Why was, talk about Quad Brown possibly coming back. What did he do well, right? And we can see some of those things on film so we can understand how PV is going to be able to attack some of those things and some of the things that maybe have to watch out for, right? So we want to start really delving into some of those things too as well on the channel, man, and really just give you guys just a fuller look at, just the game of ball as a whole. And obviously we got Coach Northern, we got some other guests that we're looking to bring on to do that, man, and to, again, enhance our knowledge of the game and of the programs that we're watching. So that way, again, we have just a deeper level of appreciation when we're even looking at some of these things. And lastly, man, of course, we got our deep dive segments that we're going to be bringing back to as well. I know you guys have enjoyed that before in the future, in the past. And so again, in the future, we're going to have some more of those segments, that we're going to be talking about as well. So make sure that you locked in for some of those deep dive segments, because, hey, listen, we're going to be breaking down a lot of, even our guys, some of the new guys that are coming in that we haven't talked about as of yet, some of the guys who are returners, right? You know what I'm saying? So, for example, like Ojo, looking at his numbers, taking a deep dive and seeing, what did he add, man? How did he have that big sophomore jump? And what's the expectations for his junior year, right? And so we're going to do this for a lot of the returners, but also we're going to talk about some guys that's coming in as well. And so make sure you're locked in for that, for those deep dive sessions as well. So with that said, man, that's all I got. So if nobody had anything and want to jump on and say anything, man, I'm going to get out y'all hair. Again, appreciate you guys for jumping on and following us over on the PV vs. Everybody Network. Make sure you're locked in every Wednesday. Say it with productive people. I don't know if it's going to be every Thursday. Check me out when I come live too for the live show, right? And of course, on Sundays, we got the recap show with Coach Heish Northern and my co-host, Mr. Mickens. So with that said, man, I'm going to holler at you.